It's not something that we here in America are necessarily used to after mass shootings, talking about immediate change. Other countries have had their share of mass shootings, then they change their gun laws, and in many cases, their culture of gun ownership along with it. Ines De La Cuetara reports on what happens when countries tighten their gun laws.
It's the same story that keeps repeating itself.
It's happened again.
Another mass shooting.
Another mass shooting.
Countless innocent American lives lost at the hands of gun violence.
Did you take it that swim right over there?
In seconds, children murdered at school. Country music fans shot at by the hundreds while attending an outdoor music festival. Moms and dads gunned down driving around town. Grandparents executed shopping for groceries.
We got people down inside King Supers.
Families massacred at Sunday service.
It hurts so much.
Gun violence continues to be an overwhelming and existential threat to daily life across the country.
As this slaughter increases, as our kids run for their lives, we do nothing.
And the thought racing through the minds of so many Americans, when's the next one? And will I be there when it happens? But it doesn't have to be that way. Other nations around the world have suffered tragic mass shootings of their own. They acted and have seen dramatic change.
She was a bright, lovely child. We were a team.
Not a day goes by for Dr. Mick North without thinking of Sophie.
Yeah, I got various photos from a couple of trips we made to the States. So yeah, we had fun. Petting the zoo. That's from, with a T-shirt from a national park that I don't remember.
His 5-year-old daughter was one of 16 students killed during the 1996 shooting rampage at a Scottish elementary school. The years have passed, but the pain hasn't.
There were so many things to feel sad about. But one of them was knowing how much of this she would remember and how important it would feel to her later on.
It's been over a quarter century since that tragic shooting here at Dunblane, but it's what happened here that changed public opinion and prompted calls for tighter gun laws.
It was something that we decided that we had to do. We knew we were going to be listened to by the media if we spoke out. Our words would be heard when others might not be.
Through his pain, Mick taking action, leading the movement for gun control in the UK.
The majority of people after Dunblane wanted change, wanted tighter gun laws, and it was a question of channeling what the public wanted.
The massacre eventually leading to a ban on owning handguns.
Guns are just too easy to use. And in somewhere like America, they are too easy to get hold of.
And while Great Britain is not immune to gun violence, there have been no school shootings and very few mass shootings since then.
Do you ever think about guns?
No, it just doesn't cross our mind. It's just not an issue. We grow up and it just doesn't come into the conversation.
No, there's never been a need for it where we live.
Just a month after Mick's daughter was taken from him, a similar nightmare began playing out halfway around the world on the Australian coast.
When the Dunblane massacre happened in Scotland, some people had pointed out that it could easily happen in Australia.
Being let out, they still haven't caught this character.
A gunman armed with 2 semi-automatic assault rifles murdered 35 people at a popular tourist destination, killing or injuring someone from every state in Australia. Like Britain, the government also moved swiftly, thanks in large part to the efforts of Rebecca Peters.
It's time for tough gun laws.
A lot of us were familiar with the place and thought, we've been there, that could have happened to us. I felt it was important to communicate really clearly what the problems were in the laws and what the changes were that needed to be made.
And changes were made. Within days, the Prime Minister announced reform.
This is Australia's chance to draw a line in the sand.
Parliament, controlled by Conservatives, eventually passed bans on semi-automatic rifles, shotguns, stricter background checks, and a mandatory buyback program that took over 600,000 guns out of civilian hands. Measures Rebecca says are popular to this day.
Mostly ag laws have been maintained, but There's very high support for the gun laws still. When a mass shooting happens in the US, you often see and hear Australians saying, thank goodness we have our gun laws. Thank goodness we didn't go down the American road.
Despite tragedies like Uvalde, Las Vegas, Parkland, you name it, there's an estimated 393 million firearms in the United States. That's an astounding 120 per 100 residents, by far the highest rate in the world.
The vast majority of people in Australia and the majority of people even in the United States don't want guns, don't have guns, think gun laws should be much stronger.
89% of Americans support requiring universal background checks. 86% support red flag laws. 52% support mandatory assault weapon buyback programs.
When you hear people in the United States saying, oh, the problem isn't guns, it's mental illness, the U.S. does not have more mental illness than other countries.
Numbers show the U.S. has comparable rates of mental health disorders with dozens of other countries, including Australia, the U.K., and New Zealand. In March 2019, a gunman opened fire in New Zealand's capital and sent the entire nation reeling. A shooting spree at 2 mosques targeting Muslims left 50 people dead. The government also moved quickly, criminalizing assault rifle sales within days.
There will be changes to our gun laws. There will be more detailed discussion with Cabinet tomorrow.
Less than a month later, Parliament passed legislation banning most semi-automatic rifles, high-capacity magazines, and instituted a mandatory gun buyback program.
The law changed, and I can understand, you know, it makes everyone feel safer. So, yeah, get it over and done with.
The Prime Minister speaking with President Biden just last week on how transformative the program has been.
I also reflected on our experience with gun reform, but it is just that. It is our experience.
As mass shootings continue to be a part of the U.S. experience.
There have been more mass shootings than days in the year.
Advocates around the world are urging Americans not to accept mass shootings as an inevitable part of daily life.
What's your message to Americans that are losing hope that anything will ever get done?
You have to get politicians who will vote through changes to the gun laws, which are absolutely essential if the situation is going to improve in America.
The UK, New Zealand, and Australia all serving as proof that citizens do hold the power in a democracy and that change is possible when the public demands it.
Our thanks to Ines for that.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.